Hello and welcome back to the best of Rslash. Today we're taking a look at Rslash entitled Parents, where a little girl was left to die in a dumpster. Years later, the original biological parents come to her asking her for money. This story has been written by SavvyLay13. So let me preface this saying this is my mom's story, not mine. I don't know all the details because I know it's a painful memory and I don't want to make her relive it. The characters will be my mom, entitled sister, and my dad. My mom is the youngest of two girls. She and my dad went to high school together, but didn't start dating until they were both in college. It was a chance meeting that they ran into each other in a bar. Cute story. Still happily married and in love 23 years later. It all started when my mom got engaged. My aunt was so upset because she wasn't engaged first, even though she was older. Throughout all the planning, she was pouting and kind of cold towards my mom. So the day of the wedding comes. My mom is getting ready with her bridesmaids. She is marrying the guy she has had a crush on since high school. She has her perfect venue, and she's wearing her grandmother's, my great-grandmother's dress. Everything is going absolutely perfect until my aunt starts crying. My mom tried to comfort her because she is the most selfless woman in the world. Even though she was getting married in mere hours, she was focused on her sister. A little while later, after my aunt ran off, my grandmother pulled my mom aside. Like I said, I don't know every detail, but the conversation went something like this. "Hey, OP's mom, you're really making your sister upset." Confused, I ask, "What did I do?" "You're way too happy and it's making her upset that she didn't get married before you." Pardon me? Can you just be a little less happy?" My mom was in shock. This was supposed to be the happiest day of her life, and here was her mother telling her to be less happy so her sister didn't get butthurt. My mom's whole life, she was told to set her accomplishments aside so her sister felt special too. When she was younger, she was told by her parents she would never go to college because she had a hard time in school, dyslexia and ADD before professional help was available. My mom defied all odds and graduated with a master's degree. Can you guess who got all the glory for graduating from college? You guessed it, my aunt. And on this day, my mom wasn't having it. My mom said, "Look, Mom, I'm sorry that my sister is upset, but today is about me and my husband. We're happy, and I'm not going to hide that or pretend I'm not just so my sister won't be sad. Today is the happiest day of my life, and I'm not giving that up for anyone." My grandmother shut up after that. She did give my mother a disapproving look, though. I don't even need to have been there to see it. My mom still gets them all the time. After that, the wedding was perfect. My mother still talks about it with stars in her eyes. Now, my mother still has to deal with their sometimes, but she also has my dad and us kids, 2 of us are adults now, to help stand up for her. She's very happy, and I'm so glad she stood up for herself. There are a few stories like this that I know about, but this one makes me the saddest. I'm just glad she didn't let it ruin her wedding day. Edit. I told my mom about all the support she got in this post and how many upvotes it has, and she got so happy, joking that she was Reddit famous and was so overjoyed that everyone was so kind. This story has been posted by Commit Kurt Cobain. So, as you all know, people are freaking out about the coronavirus, so they're doing everything they can to get their hands on supplies to last the quarantine. My family decided that we were going to try to go to Costco today to get preparations for a couple of weeks of dinners and some other home essentials like most others are doing. As we're walking around and picking up the supplies we need, I started to notice that the store was basically in chaos. People were hoarding items such as toilet paper. Although Costco has limited the amount of rolls a single person can buy at a time, there were a few people bickering back and forth about items, etc. It was kind of funny to see people acting so immature in a time of panic. My family and I took our groceries to the checkout line, as you do, and stood behind some woman and her 2 children. My dad and I started chuckling together about how much of a madhouse the grocery store was when the woman standing in front of us whipped around and started shouting at us to keep our germs to ourselves. She had a stick up her ass about us being too close to her and her 2 children, and how we were spreading our germs. It was a bit strange, but understandable, I suppose. When the woman in front of us finally got to the checkout counter, she started unpacking a good 10 to 15 packs of toilet paper as well as her other food groceries to be scanned. As I mentioned earlier, Costco had put a limit of 1 pack of toilet paper per person, which meant that this woman would have to put all but 1 pack away back where she found them. The cashier mentions this fact to the woman and she replies by saying, "Well, I'm a single mom and I need these toilet paper rolls for my family so we don't have to come back out and get sick once the virus spreads more." To which the cashier replied, "I'm sorry, ma'am, but being a single mom doesn't have any impact on the limit, so I'm going to have to ask you to please put the excess toilet paper back." This woman was not having it. She had the audacity to start yelling at the cashier about how he should be respecting her because she works her ass off to maintain the peace of her family because her cheating, lying husband took all of her money when they divorced. While this is all going on, the line was getting very long and people were getting impatient. So the cashier calmly tells her to either pay and take her groceries, not including the toilet paper, or to get out of line. The woman reluctantly agrees and proceeds to hand the cashier her card. Before the cashier can complete the transaction, the woman asks the cashier if she can have a discount because she's a single mom and can't afford everything she put in her cart. Now, I had been standing in line for a good 20 minutes now, and this really got on my nerves. I don't understand why people are so uncooperative, especially about things like this. Edit. To those in the comments, no, she did not get a discount. This story has been posted by Shy Girl Turned Sassy. For those of you who have been joining us for a while, Shy Girl Turned Sassy is a poster on this subreddit that talks a lot about her crazy entitled aunt. These stories are always hilarious, so let's hear what happened this time. This happened in the summer of 2018. My boyfriend Cyrus, name change, and I were on our way to a dinner party and stopped by at his parents' home because he needed to drop off something his dad had asked for. As he went to see his dad in the study, I parked the car and then went in to wait in the living room. His mom greeted me with her usual warmth. His aunt and cousin, along with cousin's gaggle of children, were there too. Cousin greeted me, then gave me a once-over and whispered something to her mom, i.e. Cyrus's aunt. They waited until Cyrus's mom had left the room before Aunt said to me, "You know, you really shouldn't dress like that in front of children. It's a bad influence on them." What do you mean, dress like that? We're going to a dinner party. I'm dressed appropriately. I was wearing a black one-shoulder pencil dress. Cyrus's cousin then says, "Well, your legs are exposed. I don't want my kids to think it's okay for a woman to dress this way. You should go home and change, or at the very least go outside and wait in your car." I am 5'8" and I have long legs, but my outfit really wasn't showing a lot of skin. Certainly not enough to warrant this kind of reaction. Besides, her kids were playing at the other side of the room and didn't pay any attention to me, so I have no idea why she was acting this way. Me, sarcastically, "Damn it, I knew I should have worn the bikini." Aunt says, "Do you think you're funny?" As she was babbling, Cyrus entered the living room. They didn't see him. He had heard what they were saying and clearly didn't like what he heard. Aunt and cousin never talked in front of him as he has chewed them out in the past. He asked cousin why aunt and cousin couldn't dress better. Did they really think it was okay for cousin's kids to see them dressed in tacky saris? They should probably go home and change. When they acted indignant, he simply said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Do you feel insulted that someone is commenting on the way you dress?" They obviously had no answer. Cousin gave me one last angry look as we were leaving, and I gave her a smile. This story has been posted by AngelFire224. Hey guys, I hope everyone is safe at home. Not my story. I read about it in our local newspaper years ago. It was quite a well-known story at that time. An elderly couple with no children came to know about a newborn baby girl whom someone had left in a waste dump. The baby was about to die. They took her to the hospital and then formally adopted her. Years later, the girl herself became a doctor and earned good money. An old poor couple came to the girl claiming to be her biological parents and demanded that she give them money as they didn't have any means to provide for themselves. The girl didn't believe them, but after DNA tests, it was proven that they were indeed her biological parents. How they knew, that wasn't mentioned in the article. The couple kept demanding money from her, saying as she was their daughter, it was her responsibility to look after them in their old age. When the girl asked them why they left her to die, they tried to justify their actions and said that if they hadn't left her there, she wouldn't have so much money right now. It was because of them she had money and so they deserved some of it. They wanted money as their other kids, sons mostly, either didn't earn or didn't want to take care of them. When the girl refused, they threatened to go to court against her. In retaliation, she sued them for abandonment and a few other charges. There was no follow-up article, so I don't know what happened to the girl or those pathetic excuses for human beings. You've been listening to the best of Rslash. If you like what we're doing, please leave a thumbs up. Also, please consider subscribing as we release content like this every single day, 7 days a week on both YouTube and podcast.